myself. My name is Stephen Listison. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. This is Shannon Curley from New Jersey. Nathaniel Gubler from all the way from Bermuda. And Naomi from Mansfield, Ohio. What we get. Now, rather than sitting here and having you guys imagine, think about, I'm not going to paint a picture in your head. I'm going to hit you with some hard statistics. So, gross national income. The gross national income of a nation is the average salary of a citizen of the nation. So, if anyone in the crowd had to guess, just shout your answer out. What is the average income of a Nicaraguan citizen? Power and fuel sustainability. I know you know the answer, but I know do not answer.
43,000. 43,000. 43,000. 43,000.
We find out that the gross national income of a citizen in Nicaragua is only about $10,500 compared to the United States, which is $55,000. That's a huge discrepancy. But let's go on. How much percent of renewable energy do you think Nicaragua operates off of? 12? 2? 0? 1? What about the United States?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
These are really alarming statistics. When we look at Nicaragua, in comparison to the United States, we find out that Nicaragua uses 54% renewable energy, while the United States only uses 10%. Let's go on, one more. This has to do with rate of living, quality of life. So, Human Development Index. On a scale of 1 being the best, 187 being the worst, what do you think Nicaragua is?
129.
Who did that?
He guessed the exact answer. What about the United States?
5.
One fuel sustainability.
5,
67.
9, and 5.
68.
Throughout our presentation, warranting and examining these statistics in relation to the global issue of fuel and power sustainability in Nicaragua. Our task is to exemplify how Nicaragua should go about solving the global issue of power and fuel sustainability. We're going to use 3 main areas: economy, environment, and social aspects. Without one of these, fuel sustainability and power sustainability cannot be achieved in Nicaragua. Finally, I invite you to take a journey with my group and I through Nicaragua, in the feet of Nicaraguan citizens, down a path, a slim, narrow path, an unpaved road. Learn the background of Nicaragua. Next, we're going to tour Nicaragua's renewable energy sources and facilities as they stand today. Look at a recent timeline, maybe learn some facts as it stands in 2015 today. Finally, I invite you to help us pave the road and widen Nicaragua's roads to future success in fuel and power sustainability, and challenging the rest of the world to have success in fuel and power sustainability just like Nicaragua does.
To begin, I'll tell you about the brief background of Nicaragua. In 1979, the Sandinista political group came to power, and they focused on creating a better infrastructure for the poor, as well as improving life in general. But since then, for about the past 15 years, we've had a lot of corrupt presidents in Nicaragua, and it sent the country into a crippling debt and sending their economy into a bad place as well. But the return of their president now, Daniel Ortega, he has really helped refocus the country to help in social programs as well as bring it back to fuel sustainability. Their economy, as I said, they're in a big debt, and most of their citizens are well educated because of the programs of the Sandinistas in the 80s, but there's not enough jobs for each of them to support their families, and they get into this gray area where they go and be entrepreneurs at the local market. So in our programs, we'll try to promote jobs for them so that they will be able to support their families in a primary job instead of internally. And next.
What is an NGO? An NGO is a non-governmental organization. They are usually started up by citizens just like yourself. There actually happen to be many renewable energy NGOs inside Nicaragua. Most of them are funded by businesses and private investors. There are three actually on wood that we think are pretty important. Grupo Phoenix, they create awareness of sustainable lifestyles. There is the Sonati Association. They create and help businesses strive so that they can donate their profit towards the education of students so that they can make a healthy environmental impact. And then there's the Foundation of Sustainable Development. It says it right there, Sustainable Development. So they focus on health, social, economic, and environmental issues in Nicaragua.
Okay, as Stephen mentioned before, Nicaragua is currently at 54% renewable energy. That's pretty high, but it only got there in the past decade. Nicaragua started harnessing renewable energy in 2005. In 2007, when Daniel Ortega came into power, he really got into renewable energy, and in 2009, the first wind farm was created. In 2013, the number had doubled from 2007's number of 25% to 51%. Currently, Nicaragua is at 54%. Nicaragua is really a great place for renewable energy to take place because it's got the coastlines. It's not a very big country, so there's coastlines on either side. There's the volcanic range for geothermal energy, and they get relatively a lot of wind, and so they have 4 wind farms, 3 of which are internationally funded, and 1 is funded from their own government, which is impressive because their government is not actually very good. So, because of all this renewable energy, it stopped blackouts, which happened quite frequently before, and it has reduced oil imports.
So this draws us back to our 3-pronged plan, and we're going to revisit the aspects of Nicaragua that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. So we're going to look at the economy, and when we look at the economy, we want to increase accessibility to Nicaragua's power grid to that 20%, like Naomi mentioned, that doesn't have power right now. This will bolster businesses, new businesses, and jobs opportunities, as well as aiding new renewable and sustainable energy opportunities in the region. Next, we're going to look at the environment. And when we look at the environment, I'm going to go back to that idea of widening and paving Nicaragua's roads that I mentioned in our introduction. And by widening and paving Nicaragua's roads, we're going to be able to have more renewable energy companies drawing into the region, creating new projects. And Nicaragua will go even more into renewable energy, from 54% to 100% by 2020. Finally, we're going to look at social programs. And we look at social programs, we're going to specifically look at education. Now, NGOs, like Nathaniel mentioned, need STEM experienced workers. And right now, there aren't that many in Nicaragua. So we're going to incentivize STEM education in Nicaraguan public universities so we can expedite the process of getting more professionally qualified STEM workers in the NGO energy fields.
Okay, so as Stephen mentioned, 20% of Nicaraguans do not have power. They only contribute to renewable power or just oil power. Renewable energy would help get power to these people. There's a canal plan that's being proposed already now by the government and people and other international NGOs, and that'll help get power to the people who have it. And they live in areas, and that way it'll be renewable energy. So
Our next plan is to widen and pave the roads for not just the workers and the companies that are trying to build renewable energy, but also for the Nicaraguan people. We want them to have access to education and to their big cities, as well as jobs, which are going to be created by these new renewable energy buildings and sources and companies like Grand Power, which we'll hear about later on. So we want to implement this plan of widening the roads and paving them to make the companies have an easier time and make them maybe want to invest in Nicaragua more so that they can get their programs implemented as well as creating jobs for the people of Nicaragua.
Monetary incentive for STEM programs. Stephen already mentioned it. Nicaragua is in need of many STEM students. And Shannon, she just mentioned that there's a company called Rampower. Rampower, I'm going to expound on them a little bit. They are a US-based company, and they're based in Nevada. They actually build geothermal and hydroelectric properties, but they have stated, as well as other companies contributing to the building of renewable resources properties, they have stated that they need engineers. So, like Steve mentioned before, we are trying to get a bunch of NGOs and different companies to try and invest and fund students to take part in engineering courses at the University of Engineering in Nicaragua. And it's also known that if companies were to invest into NGOs, the renewable energy ones, they have a 100% reimbursement of their investment within 6 to 8 years.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep talking. It won't switch slides. Okay, so now that we've laid out this plan of action looking at economy, environment, and social aspects, how do we conclude our plan? Where do we go next? Well, like Naomi talked about, we have to look at the economy and the power grids. But when we look at the economy and power grids, we're not only seeing new renewable energy resource opportunities, we're also seeing opportunities for completely new jobs. And like Shannon mentioned in the first informational slide about Nicaragua, people in Nicaragua have education, some of the power grid. There are going to be more job opportunities. Companies are going to want in Nicaragua. But where do we go from here? Well, we know that there will now, with economic, social, and environmental, I cannot stress that enough, new aspects in Nicaragua, there will be adequate private and public transportation. There will be new job opportunities, new business opportunities, new business endeavors, new opportunities for investment, entrepreneurship, and growth in general. Just more opportunity as a result of the economy bolstering and renewable energy bolstering. We're going to see that there's a higher quality education, especially in the STEM fields. And we're going to see Nicaragua 100% completely on clean energy by the year 2020. Now, only one other nation in the world operates on complete renewable energy, and they are far better off in terms of Human Development Index and gross national income than Nicaragua. So this is a huge stride for the Central American country of Nicaragua. They're going to be able to now focus on other problems, like the first group mentioned, human trafficking, a huge problem in Nicaragua. They're not going to have to worry about renewable energy anymore. They're going to be able to worry about international cybersecurity, all the other aspects that we discussed this week, public health, clean water, and human trafficking. Finally, we see that there are so many discrepancies in the statistics between the US and Nicaragua. And despite Nicaragua's economy is not as well off as the United States is, they still have far better strides in terms of renewable energy than the United States. We challenge the United States, China, Germany, the United Kingdom, and other world superpowers to follow in the footsteps of Nicaragua. Use more renewable energy. If Nicaragua, with their bad economy, bad educational system, none of this is good in comparison to the United States, or Germany, or any other world superpower. So if Nicaragua can do it through our three-pronged plan, then these other world superpowers definitely can. And overall, we know that the implementation of our three-pronged plan in Nicaragua and the conclusion of our three-pronged plan in Nicaragua will make Nicaragua's fuel and power sustainability a better place, their economy, environment, and social aspects of the country a better place. And by encouraging other world superpowers to follow in their footsteps, challenging them to be like Nicaragua, we will make the world for our current and future generations a better place.